It has surprised me, and I'm pleased about it. I do think the Chinese will come back and be strong because they got so many resources. But I think it's pleasing, and it shows a way. It is possible. We should believe in it and go for it. I think it's good for world badminton that there are a number of players from different nations that are at the top. I think that's very good for badminton. I'm not quite sure what it means to Danish badminton or to the girls in Denmark. But one thing is sure, whoever is at the top, we should try to beat them. And of course, when you get more nations in, you will probably also see more game styles coming through, more players you have to play to learn how they're playing and so on. So I can see that could be a bit of a bigger task for us. We have to do more to cope with a bigger variety of players in the world. So in that way, I think it'll be a little bit tougher. But one thing is good, but you always see that you will have like players who are at the top for a certain period, and when someone starts to work out how to beat them and they show the way for others, it becomes harder to stay at the top. So we knew that we were in a bit of trouble with the women's singles in Denmark. And I've been sitting out there a number of times and being quite irritated over the Japanese women, because they are physically strong, they can hit the shuttle over and keep it in. And I said, well, why should we not be able to produce something like that? So we started to develop a program. We called it the Women's Singles Project 2016, where we were going to pick 8 young athletes, and we would educate them physically, mentally, in terms of video analysis, and also developing their own game plan. So that was where it started, actually, because I was sitting there becoming irritated of what I was seeing. The game plan comes out of this project, Lady Singles project, in terms of Lady Singles, of course. So develop a group of players, and then we hope to be able to raise the level, learn something about it, and then that becomes a new level of developing players through the normal talent programs. And what is interesting, and we hope we'll be able to carry on, is that we, with this group of girls, actually have a group of girls that at the moment they're beating each other. So, and they're still being able to train together and lift each other in training. Because what we've seen in the men's singles is that we have nearly always had more men's singles players at the top. That has been difficult in women's singles, where you're seeing either Kevin Martin at the top or Tina Baum at the top. So we hope that we'll be able to bring actually a group of women's singles players up. Because if you raise more at the same time, there'll be the competition, and also the level of training will be higher. So that's part of the strategy. I think that in most cases we develop players who have reasonable good technical skills in terms of racket skills. Movement skills and our physical ability is not as good. So focus will be put there, of course, to raise the level. But we have had dietitians, psychologists associated with the girls, and So there's like an educational part of the program. It's not just playing badminton or training badminton. It's also the educational things around it. And I think that we are actually educating the players to become more knowledgeable and better players and resources, I would say. Of course, we are a country of 5.3 million people or so, and so the market is not great for sponsors and so on. So resources in terms of finances, in terms of people, that is of course an area where we are competing on the backside compared to a number of Asian countries and so on. And I think that will also count for a number of other European nations. I think there are two things. If the girls look at the men's singles training, they will be looking at guys who are training hard and they are really tough to each other in training. That's a bit harder for girls to be. So that tough to be on court, competing about being good in training and take the most out of it. That's one thing they can learn from the boys. And from Victor is very, very dedicated, and he lives like an athlete, and he's fully occupied in being a better player in all aspects, in preparations. He's very, very determined to do everything right. So that's things they can learn from him or other players at the same, with the same interest in the game.